This is NBC 12 on your side at 6.
Only rain here in the metro, but a completely different weather picture to our north and to our west. Large swaths of the state seeing their first snow of 2020.
At most, only a few inches, but certainly enough to keep police and tow trucks busy, regardless of whether you were in Northern Virginia or Roanoke. Many drivers overestimated their ability to drive in this weather. Others didn't stand a chance. The roads were just too slick.
Tonight we have team coverage on this first alert weather day, beginning with Jim Duncan and Nick Russo, who are tracking how much snow fell and what we can expect overnight.
Okay, let's start with me. Nick will have the live radar in a second. We have snow today, mainly well west of Richmond, out to the west. This is a pretty descriptive picture here. This is just a radar estimate of precipitation. Rain in the green, and this is rain, and this is actually where the snow fell in the blue areas to the west of Richmond, where there wasn't much. It was mostly grassy areas until you got out toward Albemarle, those areas where it was a little bit more. But around Metro Richmond, within 20, 30 miles of Richmond, it was Louisa County, western Goochland, Fluvanna, parts of northern Cumberland County, up to a ½ inch, a light coating pretty much. Zion Crossroads, for example, out in Louisa, western part, had about ½ inch of snow. Heavier amounts to the west, Charlottesville 2½ inches, Fisherville a couple of inches just before hitting Afton Mountain, Linville 5½ at Rockbridge County, or Rockingham County rather, 2½ at Harrisonburg, Winchester almost 4 inches, Dulles a couple inches, Culpeper 2½. Southwest Virginia, Blacksburg had 3 inches of snow, the Roanoke area a couple inches of snow. So those were the snow totals. Rain for Richmond was about 1/3 of an inch. It came down in buckets. It poured for a brief period of time, but it moved out pretty quickly. More on that, live look at radar. Here's Nick.
Hey Jim, yes, the rain is all gone for us this evening. That is great news, and our temperatures are in the 30s now. We're at 36 degrees in Hanover, 37 for Richmond, 37 in Petersburg. These temperatures will continue to drop back into the low 30s overnight tonight, so there is a little bit of concern for some areas of refreezing, especially out toward western parts of Virginia, Farmville, where it's already down to 33 degrees. If you have any slush on the ground right now, that could refreeze as we get into the early morning hours tomorrow. Though for the most part, if you're watching from Richmond, Metro Richmond, Chesterfield County, Henrico County, I don't expect too many issues in terms of ice overnight tonight, because most of that water will either just evaporate or not refreeze as we get overnight into the early morning hours of your Wednesday. The big story as we get into the overnight is going to be the winds picking up. It's going to be a gusty wind when you wake up tomorrow morning. Our current wind speeds are anywhere between 10 to 15 miles per hour, but this will get stronger heading into your day on Wednesday. In fact, there's already a wind advisory in effect out toward Buckingham County. Everyone will see those strong gusty winds tomorrow. Coming up, Jim will be back with a look at how strong the winds will be tomorrow, and also taking a look ahead to when we could hit 70. Kurt and Carla?
All right, thanks so much, Nick. Well, no matter where you live, VDOT is warning all drivers to watch out for slick spots. And
as we've been telling you, driving has been treacherous all across the state. In fact, the winter weather is blamed for more than 24 wrecks on I-81 alone.
Meanwhile, Eric Perry is live in Albemarle County tonight with a first-hand look at conditions there. Eric?
Yeah, Kurt, Carla, as the temperatures start to drop, VDOT now asking everyone to turn their attentions to side roads like this one. They got the main roads pretty much covered, but it's those leading into your neighborhoods. Let's take you to some video from earlier. We've seen countless VDOT trucks and plow trucks on I-64. That's where I am, just off of exit 129. This is about 10 to 15 miles-ish from Charlottesville. The interstate and main roads are clear for the most part, but it's those roads to your neighborhood, those side roads, that will be a concern. Now, as the temperatures continue to drop, VDOT urging you to be careful. If you don't have to be out here, they ask you not to. If you do have to come out here, give those plow trucks and their crews plenty of room to work. We're still seeing them circulating around and laying down some of that salt and brine mixture here. But the good news, we've been monitoring social media and asking officials, haven't seen many accidents or any big concerns for this area right through here. So that's the good news. But of course, if you have to get out there tonight, be extra cautious. Never overestimate black ice is a real thing. We'll continue to monitor this all throughout the night. I'll have the latest for you when you join us tonight at 11. On your side, I'm Eric Perry, NBC 12 News.
Thanks so much, Eric. And we're on your side tonight with a warning about some brazen driveway pavers trying to scam people out of thousands of dollars. Henrico police know about them, and they're working to catch them in the act so they can arrest them. We know of 3 homes that have been targeted. On Your Side investigator Diane Walker has the details. Diane?
Hey, Carla, these pavers have big equipment, the right equipment to do the job, and the vehicles are unmarked with no company name. These homeowners are just blown away by the amount of money they're trying to get from them.
So much money. Oh my God, it was enough to make you sit down and cry.
The pavers found her dad cutting grass, minding his own business. The leader approached him and said he had leftover asphalt from a different job and could do his driveway for $100. Dad called his daughter and the crew went to work.
By the time I got here, they had already scraped out the driveway. They weren't joking. They were moving fast. They had about 5 or 6 people in the driveway just scraping, moving out gravel.
Ulet says they finished the shortest side of the driveway and started talking price to pave the rest.
He said, you got 1,900 square feet, $9 per square feet. You do the calculation, $18,000. That's about $18,000. That's where they started. I looked at him, I said, do you think we have $18,000 to put in a driveway? Well, ma'am, you already got $8,500 already laid down, and we can't do the rest. We just won't do the rest of it. So I don't want half of my driveway done. Oh my God, they were terrible.
The leader cut the price from $18,000 to $9,000.
I didn't have $9,000. I didn't have no $1,000 to give them for no driveway. That was right here, Christmas time. You talking all this kind of money for a driveway?
She wrote a check payable to Robert Hicks for $6 grand, thinking she had to pay something. Then she called a friend at a different company who said their driveway was a $2,000 job at the most.
He said, $18,000? He said, nope. He said, that's a scam. He said, that's a scam. That's all I had to hear was that it was a scam.
The check bounced, so the pavers returned to her home to get their money, and she pounced.
Y'all are overcharging us. You actually are being criminal about what you're doing. If that $6,000 would have cashed, they wouldn't have come back and finished. They would have been gone. They would have been gone, and I would have been stuck with a bigger mess than what they left out there.
The pavers dug up what they put down and left a pile of asphalt. Ulet hired a different company to do the job right and was charged $1,300.
First thing he did was measure the driveway. We have 760 square feet. 760 square feet is our driveway. This man said 1,900 square feet.
The pavers leave her house and find another victim just blocks away. They didn't know this man has surveillance cameras trained on his driveway. Homeowner Terry Hall walks over to find out why they're even there.
I'm telling him he's got to leave.
Terry says he agreed to paving just a small section for a couple $100. He says only one guy showed up at his home initially.
One person, and within an hour, I've got the biggest mess you ever seen. One person. And then 20 minutes later, $1 million worth of equipment showed up at my house.
When it appeared they intended to pave the whole thing, Terry stopped them.
They dumped the hopper right here in the middle of the driveway. And thank goodness I had my sister and my girlfriend here, and they helped me, flatten it out some. The pile was this high.
The lead guy demanded $5,500 for what they had already done. Terry refused to pay and says they retaliated using their equipment.
He turned the paving machine around and started doing figure eights on it, going out and digging it back up. I'm left with a mess, a big mess that has to be gotten up. You can't drive on it.
He got perfect pictures, clear faces, and their trucks, and now so do Henrico police detectives.
Going to court, that'll be my hallmark. I'll take and shovel up every piece of this here stuff myself to see him in court.
We're told a third person in Henrico had an encounter with these guys. A woman supposedly just wanted an estimate. By the time it was over, the pavers were demanding $9,000. She wrote a check for $3 grand, but got her bank to stop payment after they left. I will stay on top of this and let you know what happens. On Your Side, Diane Walker, NBC 12.
That's a mess. Thanks so much, Diane. Now, if you believe you are being ripped off, pick up the phone and call 12 right now. These volunteers are here to listen to your story ideas. 345-1212 is the number to call until 6:30.
In Richmond, the graffiti is now gone from the Jefferson Davis and Stonewall Jackson monuments. And now police are hoping to find the people who tagged them today. Enzo Domingo is live on Monument Avenue with more on this case of vandalism. Fill us in, Enzo.
That's right, guys. This statue behind me, the Stonewall Jackson statue, had, quote, "God is gay," spray painted on it, while the Jefferson Davis statue, about half a mile down the road, had "This is racist" spray painted on that. Now, by 11:30 this morning, both of those statues were cleaned up, and that gave the city about a $4,000 cleaning bill. That's according to the Parks and Recs Department. Now, many of the people that we spoke to say whether you agree with what these statues represent or not, this is just not the way you should be expressing yourself.
A clear message sprayed across the front of the Jefferson Davis monument, quote, "This is racist." Another on the bottom of the Stonewall Jackson statue saying, quote, "God is gay." A police officer checking on the statues spotted the Davis vandalism around 4:30 this morning. The Jackson graffiti was reported 5 hours later.
Personally, I don't think vandalism is a good thing to do, especially to statues, but I mean, I think expressing your opinion is good, but not that certain way.
You know, I get a slight sense of satisfaction from seeing something that I disagree with kind of defaced. I feel like it doesn't really further the conversation in any useful way.
And that conversation was key at last night's city council meeting.
And I'm here to protect our American history. Confederate statues shouldn't be moved or destroyed.
A conversation that the city council decided ultimately they wanted the last word.
Request for permission from the General Assembly is not about destroying our past or tearing down a statue or all of them. It is meant to be giving us the ability to even have the conversation, because right now we currently can't.
The monuments have been vandalized repeatedly as the debate over their future ramps up, and taxpayers keep footing the bill to clean them.
It's just more divisive than it is uniting. And I just, in this day and age, in this country, we don't need more division.
Now, Governor Northam has said that he supports taking down these monuments, and in a statement from his office, he called these acts of vandalism unacceptable. Now, at the moment, Richmond police say they don't have any info on these suspects, but they do ask for anyone with information to contact Crime Stoppers. In the meantime, we are live out here in the Museum District. This is Enzo Domingo, NBC 12.
Thanks so much, Enzo. Still ahead tonight at 6, avoiding eviction. How a one-of-a-kind program is successfully helping Richmond neighbors stay in their homes.
And later, clearing the air, the governor's latest message for gun owners worried the state is out to confiscate their weapons.
And checking temperatures now, above freezing most spots. Ashland actually at the freezing point. We had about 1/3 of an inch of mainly rain here in Metro Richmond. There could be some icy spots on the roads though later tonight. More in your full forecast is coming up.
Dozens of new good-paying jobs coming to Chesterfield. The governor's office announced DuPont will invest $75 million to upgrade its Spruance plant and add about 60 new jobs. DuPont is already one of Chesterfield's largest employers. 2,000 people currently work there. That plant is well known for producing Kevlar, which is used in bulletproof vests. And some good news for people in Richmond trying to stay in their homes. Mayor LeVar Stoney says the city's eviction diversion program is working.
So far, nearly 80 families have avoided being kicked out onto the streets. On your side at 6, Karina Bolster spoke with a renter who says the program has certainly helped him.
The sheriff was there to actually evict us that day.
Just 2 weeks before Christmas, Sean Johnson says a terrible feeling ran through his body.
Fear, felt a little ashamed, you know. Just sadness for real, because I'm like, you know, where I'm going to go.
Johnson says he hit some financial hardships and wasn't able to pay his rent. That's when he heard about the eviction diversion program and called up Housing Opportunities Made Equal, also known as HOME, who stepped in to help.
They paid 50% of what I had due, and I had to pay 50%.
As a result, the father of 4 and grandfather of 5 was able to avoid eviction and stay in his apartment.
A handful of gratitude and thanks.
It's an emotion volunteers with the program have heard from 75 other families since it launched in October.
That means we've prevented 76 life-changing upheavals that could have led to missed school, lost jobs, and to health problems.
This gives people that deserved second chance to be able to stay in their homes and at the same time make the landlord whole.
Over the last few months, RRHA has been the focus of many eviction issues and has since put a freeze on evictions through January 31st.
We've been able to assist 49 tenants in their community and helping them get their rent arrearage to a current status. And so we will continue to partner with RRHA going forward.
However, there are certain requirements that need to be met before the tenant can move forward. Renters can only go through the diversion program once.
Every single time we divert an eviction, we are helping to reduce poverty.
Now, the program is on track to meet several of its other goals and hopes it can serve as an example for other major cities who have high eviction rates. On your side in Richmond, Karina Bolster, NBC 12 News.
Thanks so much, Karina. Well, an opening date is set for Richmond's first Whole Foods store. Doors open January 30th at 9 a.m. The store was built on the site of the old Pleasance hardware store on West Broad Street. The new store means 165 new jobs for Richmond. Whole Foods currently only has one store in the area, and that is in Short Pump.
Accurate, reliable, breaking weather specialists. This is NBC 12 First Alert Weather.
Well, Richmond right now, it's mainly cloudy. Check out the 7-day forecast here. Kind of focus on Saturday, 71 degrees. Just want to throw out something nice for you to kind of think about for the future weather here as we move forward, as we look at some cold air right now. You know, with the rain, it felt colder than 30s today, 30s and 40s. Right now, 37. Of course, the rain ended a while ago, and we didn't see the snow here in Richmond, but we did see some out to the west we talked about earlier. But now around the freezing point in spots, around Louisa 32. So as temperatures gravitate toward freezing later tonight, be aware there will be some icy spots on the roads, even here where it didn't snow, because the roads are still wet. So something to use extra caution tonight and early tomorrow morning. There's nothing left with the snow or rain over the area now. Clear scans for us on radar. Maybe some drizzly spots still possible, but the last vestige of snow moving out of the Baltimore area now. Low pressure is now moving east of New Jersey tonight. It's a big storm. Remember, at this time last night, it was barely noticeable on the radar picture out of the Midwest. And there it is, a significant storm over the Atlantic coast right now. As is usual, once it hits the coastline, the warm waters of the ocean and such feed it energy. And the wind will be accelerating behind this, and that's why it's going to turn windy or breezy for most spots, but quite windy later tonight. In fact, we have wind advisories for the western Piedmont into the mountains of southwest Virginia for tomorrow, and then gale warnings along coastal areas. But this wind advisory tomorrow includes Buckingham County and Charlotte County and points west, although we're going to be quite breezy to windy at times here. And then the gale warnings continue through midnight along coastal areas of the Atlantic. All right, so your forecast, hour-by-hour forecast, obviously precipitation moving on out. The winds start to pick up a little bit later tonight, cold as well, with clearing skies. And be aware of icy spots on the roadways and sidewalks early tomorrow morning into sunrise. I think there could be some issues with that potentially, especially from Richmond to the west. Windy, though, through the day tomorrow. Winds gusting over 25 at times. And then into tomorrow night, the winds diminish. We have clear skies. A cold day coming up for Thursday. Highs Thursday will only be in the mid-40s. That only, but, you know, that's actually fairly typical for early January. So not too bad. It's going to be drying out. At least we'll have some sunshine. 32 degrees your temperature for a low tonight. Clearing skies, some icy spots on the roads. Hour-by-hour forecast tomorrow. Midday we're at 46 degrees. Highs right around 50-ish tomorrow late afternoon. Next big thing weather-wise for us really will be the big warm-up coming in for the weekend. Starts Friday, 61 Friday. All of a sudden, the temperatures have a huge turnabout. 71, but with showers Saturday, and it stays mild to early next week. We'll have more news coming up.
State Democrats are certainly eager for tomorrow when they take control of the General Assembly.
And today, Governor Northam joined Democratic lawmakers who will be taking leadership roles in the GA. Together, they outlined an ambitious agenda. They acknowledge guns will be the key issue this session, and they say they won't back down on tougher gun control laws. But the governor says he wants to put to rest all these rumors surrounding their plans.
We have no intention of calling out the National Guard. We're not going to cut off people's electricity. We're not going to go door to door and confiscate individuals' weapons.
The Democrats' Virginia 2020 plan also calls for easier abortion access, passage of the Equal Rights Amendment, more affordable housing, and more funding for public schools.
And state Democrats also say they will raise the minimum wage. Several unions and other progressive groups say they will be watching to make sure lawmakers follow through. They want the state to force all employers to pay their workers at least $15 an hour.
The Democratic Party truly stand by what they say. They will make this happen. $12 is not good enough. $13 is not good enough. $15 is the minimum.
Many large companies have already raised the minimum wage to $15 an hour. Many small businesses have also raised their wages, but they warn a $15 an hour mandate could force them to raise prices, cut jobs, or cut hours, and maybe even close.
And the General Assembly convenes tomorrow at noon, and political reporter Heather Sullivan will be there with live reports throughout the afternoon here on 12 News. Tomorrow night at 7, the governor delivers his annual State of the Commonwealth address, and you can catch it live on the NBC 12 News app as well as our Facebook page.
We're back in just a moment.
As they say, all good things must eventually come to an end, and that's the case with the restaurant Comfort. Owner Jason Alley and Michelle Jones announced they'll be retiring their aprons. They're closing January 31st. Comfort has been in business since 2002. You still have a few weeks to enjoy their meatloaf, their cornmeal crusted eggplant, or their macaroni and cheese, which is really incredibly good. It's open Monday through Saturday starting at 5 p.m.
All right. Well, before we go, a heads up for drivers in Chesterfield. Omo Road at Old Zion Road is closed after a tree has come down. So we'll stay on top of that and let you know when it will reopen.
Nightly News is next.